Hi guys, and welcome to this week's collective reading. So we are starting this week off with the Dove of Peace, which flew straight out of the card deck at the very beginning of the shuffle. And interesting story, or maybe not, I don't know. I actually know why that is. Well, kind of, in a way. Basically, last week, I didn't end up posting a reading, but I did pull the cards. But then I think I pulled the cards and I was going to sit with them, and then we decided to go out, and I just never got the time to sit with them to get the message and to film. And if I still have that shuffle on my phone, I will insert it. But basically, the Dove of Peace was the leading card last week when I pulled the cards, but then I never did the reading. So it just feels a bit like the card's way of saying that I can't ignore it, that I need to talk about it or talk about this, especially with the second card coming out, being Amber, and it having this similar imagery with the pigeon here, which a dove is a pigeon, by the way. And this pigeon even has the illuminated heart space in an amber color, right, to go with this card. But clearly a duplicated message from this first card of the Dove of Peace, as it also has its heart space highlighted here in pink on this card. So on the bottom of this card, the message says to stay in the heart, that all is well, and to be at peace. Now, I don't know how well you can see these little details, but above this dove's head, it's got this open crown chakra imagery. And the imagery is being repeated almost down in this bottom corner of the card, like a plant that's rooted into the earth, right? And it's in the earth plane, but it's picking up all the coding that's embedded in the earth, and it's singing a song. And it's a very heart-led song, as you've got this plant that looks exactly like the crown chakra over this bird. And then you've got the heart behind it, and it's singing this song. You've got this song emanating out of it with the notes in the background. And obviously this heart chakra shadows back to here. So we have this image of the crown chakra bringing in this messaging, right? That's actually looping around and rooted in the earth as well. So it's very balanced with this heaven and earth energy pulling together to meet at the heart and to sing this song of peace, right? That this dove here is tuning into. And this is really connecting into this strength card. And it says return underneath, because in this particular deck, there are two sets of the major arcana. So the first set is 0 through 21 as per normal, and it's considered an outward journey where you're embarking on this great adventure to learn about yourself. And then the return cards, exactly as it sounds, right? So after you've completed this journey and learned all about yourself, these cycles, they continue, right? And it's called the return journey as we make our way back home. So this could be viewed a bit as the ascension journey, as we've fragmented off or individuated, and now we have all of this knowledge that we've accumulated about ourselves. So now we're ready to embark on this adventure to work our way back, spiraling into source, right? So the return journey is about what we've gathered all of that knowledge, and now we're ready to bring it into something greater, right? To let it all accumulate. So the return journey would be seen as a higher octave. So we're playing the same note. That's not changed. It's the strength card again. It's the same note, but the frequency is higher, right? We've got the same song. It's just the frequency has now been doubled. And I've actually pulled the outward journey of this strength card. So this would be the first strength card you would come up in the major arcana. This would be your normal strength card, let's say. Just to show you how the colors are actually really similar to this Dove of Peace up here. And I think we are being called to shift into this higher frequency, right? Maybe you've already embodied this outward journey of strength and what that means to you and for you. And it's really come through at this point as an embodiment of peace for you. So now you're being challenged to kick it up a notch, right? To keep yourself challenged, right? Hold on to this peace that you've gathered. Don't lose it. It's taken a lot of work to get here, right? We want to stay in the heart, just like it says, but now we're shifting into a new timeline. And I say this because, as I've mentioned before, these cards pair with the Aura Soma color therapy system, and bottle 89 is called it's an energy rescue, but it's also called the time shift bottle. So it has two names, energy rescue and time shift. So the issues this particular strength card is addressing, right? Because it's not the same as reading this strength card. It doesn't have the meanings that are normally associated with strength. It's at the next octave. So what's coming up with this particular strength card is it's addressing that you aren't utilizing the opportunities that life keeps presenting to you. So you've got a habit of letting them pass you by. And as an energy rescue bottle, it's like it's saying that you've got the energy, but it needs rescuing. So what does that mean, right? You're not utilizing the energy that you have. So your tiredness is probably not rooted in a lack of sleep, or perhaps your ability to sleep, right, is rooted in something else, or inability to sleep. And when you use your strength to pull yourself out of this, because it does take strength, right, to get out of these places. Once you start taking these opportunities, right, just by sheer strength and actually using your time wisely, your perspective will shift and you will find yourself on a new timeline, right? So as an energy rescue, it's helping you to see what you need to address. Like, what are you letting pass you by that you should be grabbing a hold of and not letting it pass you by, and not using a lack of motivation or energy as an excuse to not do it. I hope that makes sense. So in this image, right, the woman has embodied the lion, right? So instead of just holding the lion's mouth open, now you are the lion. And it doesn't matter if you're a male watching this. This is just energies that we all have within us. So even though these are women, you can be a male, and this reading absolutely still pertains to you, because we all have masculine and feminine archetypes within us, right? And this is a balancing of the feminine and the masculine energies. This is really strongly connecting to Sekhmet for me, who is well known for being a solar feminine deity, right? And the solar sphere, the sun, is most often represented by masculine deities. But Sekhmet is really holding strong in her masculine and feminine qualities. So you can be creative and thinking up all of these new ideas or jumping onto opportunities instead of allowing them to pass you by. But you're also able to organize and process and streamline and create the structure around it to allow it to flourish, right? And this is really standing in your strength. In the previous card, right, you're utilizing your strength to tame the beast, so to speak. And now we're shifting gears, so you aren't spending your strength just to hold this vibration, right? You've made peace here. So now you can harness this energy and redirect it inwards for this return journey so it can emanate from within. And your solar plexus is ready to bring you into a place of power here in this material realm. And then I've got this bridging over to the Amber card, because we're going 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how I'm reading it. So this is the bridging. With the Amber card, the message is just right at the bottom. I'm reading empowerment, healing, and letting go. So we're really focusing on that solar plexus this week and its heart connection, because we do have this message to stay in the heart, and you've got the heart lit up with the amber here, right? Because remember, the heart is the peaceful place for you. It's easy. It's almost like second nature to work from a heart space for you, right? And maybe putting attention into your solar plexus, maybe that's more of a challenge for you, right? Certainly is for me, but we are being challenged. You are being challenged to shift gears, right? And amber is a healing stone. Or it's not even really a stone, right? It's fossilized tree resin. And resin is almost like a scab. So if you get cut, and it's what's produced in the healing process, right? So if you wound a tree, resin is the sticky substance that will form to protect and heal the tree. So you can imagine amber acting like a Band-Aid, or maybe even better to call it a healing salve, right? That draws out energies that are impeding your healing process. So amber, and I've got lots of it out on the table, will be a really good crystal ally to work with at this time. And funny enough, I always keep amber on my altar, just right up here with Sekhmet. So right here on my tarot desk where I do these readings, I have like a little shelf, And I have Neith here at the center. And then I've got Sekhmet on one side with lots of tokens to call in the sun energy. And then I have Hathor on the other side with tokens for lunar energies. And then Neith is right in the center, and she's bridging the energies and creating the birth portal. I'm definitely on a tangent now. My point is, yeah, I keep the amber up here with Sekhmet, and their energies, Amber and Sekhmet, pair perfectly together. Especially as Sekhmet would be, for me, my personal go-to for deep healing, because she's fierce. You will be facing shadows head on, but she will draw that negativity out if you are showing the strength to take on this battle. And this Amber card is calling in for you to be courageous. The write-up in the book actually talks on how it wants to help you release old negative programming, right? That's why in this picture, the amber is balancing on this pigeon's head, right? And don't forget that this pigeon is carrying or singing the same song as the dove of peace, right? Because they are the same species. Is that the right word? They're categorized the same. I think species is correct. Same song. They're singing the same song, just different octave. And we're able to shift into this higher octave by utilizing our inner strength, right, to push ourselves past our old boundaries. And the amber is drawing out and clearing the negative programming that tries to keep us in that same space. So it's clearing our crown chakra, right? And if you don't have amber, right, that's okay. If you do, definitely work with it. But even if you don't, you can set an intention to connect with and give thanks to the spirit of amber for how it is helping you at this time, right? Literally, you don't have to have it. You can just, and when I say set an intention, just sit with yourself and say that to yourself, or, you know, as if you're speaking to the spirit. You know, recognize that it's here with you. That's why it's coming out in this reading. So it is here with you. Recognize that and thank it. You don't have to have a piece, but if you do, work with it. It's going to be great. You can even go into the, you know, a forest, the woods, any place out in nature where there's trees, and just look on their bark and see if you can find any resin forming. And, you know, you can just maybe collect that little piece. Usually it'll just kind of snap off. Sometimes it'll be quite sticky if it's fresh. And that's because it's not technically amber yet. For it to be amber, amber is formed as it's fossilized over millions of years. But even if you collect some fresh resin, you still know that it's destined to become amber, right, in its future. So it's similar to this timeline shift that we're having, right? That whatever frequency the resin holds, amber is singing the same song, just at a higher frequency, right? And the Hierophant card just below is also a return journey card. So the higher octave of the original, like, number 5 Hierophant, or it's technically the 6th card, but it's the number 5 in the major arcana. And that original Hierophant is all about learning, like following systems that have already been put into place, educational institutions, right? And this return journey is once again challenging us to push further than we have before. So maybe in the past, you have studied quite a bit, right? You've sat in that Hierophant energy. You've found teachers to learn from. You've taken courses, you know, you've read books, you've studied, you know, you've expanded your knowledge, but through more traditional methods. And now it's a time to see things from a higher perspective. So in this card, right, you're looking at the past and you're looking at the future. You're looking in both directions. So you're challenging this idea of linear timelines, right? Because this is coming out right next to the timeline shift bottle. And you're learning from your past and future. And in this process of learning, it's like Jacob's ladder here in the middle almost, right? Where there's a series of stairs with portals that open you up to the next ladder or the next staircase. So it's like you're always going to be climbing, but you can keep leveling up to that next higher octave each time. So the color therapy bottle associated with this card, the return journey for the Hierophant, is called Open Sesame. So it's like opening you up to these different portals or doorways. And it's meant to connect you to incarnations that you may have had in Lemuria, Atlantis, ancient Egypt with the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Incans, Native Americans, the Celts, past lives, future lives, and being able to draw from these incarnations what you need to understand to heal, right? So it's serving a purpose to delve into these storylines that you've played out in past and future lives. It's not like we're just learning about it for the fun of it. It's serving a purpose, because remember, with the amber, its spirit is working to draw out the negative programs that you've held onto from these lives. So don't forget to give this thanks to the amber spirit when you're working with it, right? And it is working with you. And the amber carries the wisdom from all these different timelines because it was there. Amber is an incredible healer because it is hundreds of millions of years old. And when you've experienced something, that's when you are more adept at healing and dealing with the same situations in the future, right? It's like been there, done that. And amber has been there and done that over and over and over again. It knows so much, as it is the healing resin for the tree that was rooted into the earth, right? So it's like this plant here that's pulling up all of this coding that's in the earth. All that wisdom was pulled up into the tree. And when it got hurt and it cried, the resin was the tears that healed the wound, right? It was there and it dealt with it. And this rooting to crown imagery, right? Remember that when we spoke about that, we were talking about singing this song that connects you to your heart. You aren't being asked to sing a new song. You're being asked to sing in the next octave. So you don't have to change what you're doing completely, right? You aren't on the wrong path. That's good news, isn't it? You just have to think, how can I grow and reach the next level? It's about analyzing your life and seeing where you're stagnant because you've been stuck in this strength energy, just trying to hold, this place. How can you shift into this new timeline, right? And up level. Doing what you're doing already, but how can you bring it to the next level? How can you grow, right? So I hope this is making sense and resonating. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I didn't post last week. So this is my first reading of the new year. And especially because this Dove of Peace came out last week as well, when I didn't post. I am really feeling this as the energy that is guiding our 2025, not just this upcoming week, but right now is like a springboard that catapults us forward so we can start on this track. So that is this week / this year's message, and I hope it's helped. If it is really resonating and you feel you would benefit from a more personalized reading, I do offer them. Just send me an email, which I'll put into the description box, or you can send me a message on Instagram. I'm under the same name there as I am here, Nath's Garden, and I'll also link that below. And that's it. I am wishing you all the best, and I will be back with an updated collective reading soon. Bye, guys.